Keep it up, leftists. Keep it up. Leftist media types not even remotely interested in getting to the bottom of what appears to be a very troubling set of videos. And, I know the talking head crowd on cable news, they say, you don't have any evidence. No, this is called evidence. We saw this video. It's been making the rounds. Some of you saw it on cable news yesterday. I'm going to get to the video in a second. But again, I just want to reiterate this. If you were going to do and pull off voter fraud, again, how would you do it? Well, you do it without witnesses. Obviously, that would be step one. No one wants a witness to a crime, right? You always got the lookout guy. Hey, anybody looking? No, nobody's looking. Okay, let's commit the crime now so there's no eyewitnesses, right? You'd also, if you wanted to get rid of witnesses, I want you to think all this through. Let's walk through this forensically, right? This video I'm talking about, which was taken in Georgia, is very suspicious and shows unquestionably weird behavior during the counting of ballots on election night in Georgia during the presidential election. If you were going to ask voter observers to leave, poll watchers, what we call poll watchers, very simple, you probably wouldn't do it in the middle of the day, right? Because that in turn would elicit suspicion in and of itself. Why would you ask a poll worker to leave in the middle of the day while they're watching the polls? So how would you get them to leave? Well, you'd probably wait to the middle of the night. Therefore, you'd have some viable excuse to ask them to leave, correct? I'm trying to think of this like with an investigator's hat on. Because you'd have an excuse. And what would the excuse be, folks? Well, we need you to leave because we're all going home and we're done counting because it's the middle of the night. We're going to go to sleep. All right. Reasonable, right? So then they leave. You don't want witnesses, do you? So then all of a sudden, some ballots, which appear to be in suitcases hidden under a table, magically appear. Are these fraudulent ballots? I don't know that. I can't claim that because I wasn't there. What I can claim is there is a videotape showing that there were ballots that appear to be taken from suitcases underneath a table in the middle of the night after poll watchers were asked to leave that were then processed through a machine. I can tell you that sounds awfully unusual. Let's go first to this video and let's address part 1 and 2 of my theory. If you were going to commit voter fraud, how would you do it? Again, step 1 being tell everyone you're done counting. Step 2, look for a reason to ask them to leave. And that reason would be, hey, it's the middle of the night. We're all going to Lily White's party. What's that? That's what my mom used to say when she told me it was time to go to bed when I was a kid. We're going to Lily White's party. I'd be like, yay, a party? She'd be like, just kidding. You're going to sleep. Check out this video of the poll watchers leaving in the middle of the night and evacuating. And you'll see in this 4-screen shot, this woman walks through exactly what happened. Check this out.
So according to the witnesses, the Republican observers, there is a lady who has blonde braids who comes out to announce we're going to stop counting. Everyone go home. And in fact, we see that. What happens is everyone clears out, including the Republican observers and the press, but 4 people stay behind and continue counting and tabulating well into the night from that point, which is going to be about 10:25 when they all clear out, or 10:30. And they will continue counting unobserved, unsupervised, not in public view, as your statute requires, until about 1 in the morning. The reason we know this is because when our Republican observers were forced to leave, they went to the Central Tabulation Center and they got word from a news crew that, in fact, counting had continued. They have information that not everybody left according to plan, and some people stayed behind. So this shocked them, so they returned back to State Farm Arena at about 1 o'clock in the morning, where they confirmed that, in fact, people had just left State Farm Arena in contravention of what they had been told by the supervisors who are running this operation.
Step 1 and 2, check. If you were going to commit voter fraud, you don't want witnesses, ask them to leave, say you're going to stop counting, and then do what? Continue counting. Anyone in the media concerned about this at all? By the way, that is in violation of Georgia law, election law, where there must be poll watchers. I'm just throwing that out there for, again, the liberal media goofballs with it's a conspiracy theory. Is it a conspiracy theory? There's an actual videotape of poll watchers being asked to leave while vote tabulations continue. I'm just, can you not see? Is your vision struggling? Are you having a problem? Do you need bifocals or something like that? A little monocle like the Monopoly guy? I mean, are you missing out? Is one eye not functioning correctly? Is your stereoscopic vision failing you? Is that video not accurate enough for you? Do you dispute the content of it? Are you suggesting it's fraudulent? Because I would suggest to you that step 1 and 2, ask your poll watchers to leave and keep counting, have been met by evidence in that video. Well, what would be step 3 if you were going to commit voter fraud? Well, you would need fraudulent ballots, which you wouldn't want counted in front of poll watchers now, would you? So if you were going to do it, the best way to do it would be to have fraudulent ballots, to have them hidden and bring them out. Again, is that what's happening here? I'm not suggesting that because I don't have full evidence of that. What I do have evidence of is a video which seems to indicate some highly suspicious behavior that if you were a criminal investigator, as I was in a prior life, you'd be looking for answers for, which the media seems totally unconcerned with. So let's check this video for step 3. If you were going to count fraudulent ballots, do you think it would look like something like this? Probably. Check this out.
At about 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table. This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table. Yeah, upper right hand, you see the gentleman in the red. So he just pulled one out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the audio is pretty descriptive. So if you're listening on audio only, I hope you get it. But if not, rumble.com/Bongino, you can watch the video of the gentleman in red and the lady with the blonde braids, in fact, pulling suitcases of what appear to be ballots from under a table while poll watchers were asked to leave. Why is nobody demanding answers on this now outside of conservative media? Why? And the leftist media goons are wondering why upwards of 70 to 80% of Republicans think there was a theft in this election, that there was voter fraud. Are you not watching are you denying the authenticity of that? Even Paula in the background sitting there going, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Kind of strange. You ask poll workers to leave in the middle of the night. You claim you're going to stop counting. You don't stop counting. After the poll workers leave, 4 suitcases emerge from under a table with what appear to be ballots that are then subsequently processed while you ask the poll workers to leave. Don't worry, folks. Nothing to see here if you're a liberal dunce. Even worse. I've seen some information on social media this morning that those ballots, upwards of 90% of those ballots that appear to have been processed at that time were for Joe Biden. Again, kind of strange, isn't it? Also strange that Georgia had those allegations of a water pipe that broke in the middle of the night, so they had to mysteriously shut all the counting down. I showed you on one of my shows 2 weeks ago that the texts from the people involved in the infamous water pipe burst that had to shut some of the Georgia counting down were texting each other in the middle of the night that it really wasn't that big of an incident at all, that it was a minor leak. Keep it up, leftists. Keep it up. Leftist media types not even remotely interested in getting to the bottom of what appears to be a very troubling set of videos. And, I know the talking head crowd on cable news, they say, you don't have any evidence. No, this is called evidence. And when you have evidence, is evidence proof? Sometimes it's not. If Joe's in a neighborhood when a bank is robbed at the same time, that could be evidence. If we find out later Joe didn't rob the bank because we have video of someone else doing it, then it is not evidence. How do we do that? We investigate when we see Joe, that he was in the area, and we ask him questions. You think we might want to ask questions of the people involved in this? I'm just making suggestions, folks.
You just heard Dan Bongino.